But I don't have as much of a problem as with the intentional act because we've been watching this all year in the WNBA.
Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game? Thanks.
Was not called as a foul. And then she was seen celebrating on the sideline and laughing with a teammate.
When you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye?
I think the WNBA has missed a huge opportunity, and the only reason, Megyn, that we're talking about it and you're talking about the WNBA is because of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark just dropped 30 points. But you know what's crazier? Some players might be trying to take her out. Is the WNBA letting it happen? Let's talk about the wild situation that's got everyone talking. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Clark's not just playing basketball, she's changing the game. Her games are pulling in 1.18 million viewers on average. That's huge compared to the 394,000 for other games. And get this, attendance is up almost 50% across the league.
DeJounte Carrington tried to get the ball from Caitlin, and at the end, Caitlin plays for the Indiana Fever.
I felt like my shot felt right there. That's why it's so frustrating as a shooter, when it feels so good, but it won't go down for you. That's what sucks about it, but like I said, I'm proud of our team.
But I don't have as much of a problem as with the intentional act because we've been watching this all year in the WNBA.
There it is. She could pull her hand away. She didn't. And Caitlin had a black eye.
No, I just told you I didn't even know I hit her, so I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened.
Clark's like a magnet, drawing fans to the WNBA like never before. But here's where things get weird. Some people think other players are trying to shut Clark down, and not just on the scoreboard. We're talking rough plays, maybe even dirty ones. And the WNBA? They're acting like they don't see it. Why is this happening? What does it mean for women's basketball? That's what we're diving into today, so stick around. Remember when we said things were getting weird? Well, it gets even crazier. Picture this: a star player, a suspicious eye injury, and a league that seems to be looking the other way. What's really going on with Caitlin Clark on the court? Let's break it down. During a game against the Connecticut Sun, Clark got more than she bargained for. She wasn't just facing tough defense. She ended up with a scratched eye. The culprit? Allegedly, it was DeJounte Carrington. But here's the kicker. No foul was called. Not even a whisper from the refs. Now you might think, accidents happen, right? Sure, but Carrington's response raised some eyebrows. She claimed, "I didn't even know I hit her." Some folks aren't buying it, seeing it as a classic case of playing dumb. But let's not jump to conclusions just yet. Here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just about one incident. People are starting to notice a pattern. It seems like Clark is getting roughed up more than your average player. Is it because she's just that good? Are other players trying to shut her down by any means necessary? Or is it all just part of the game? Think about it. Clark's not just any player. She's a sensation, drawing huge crowds and bringing in massive viewership. Could that be making her a target? Some critics are saying yes, arguing that other players might be feeling the heat from all the attention she's getting. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. The WNBA's response, or should I say, lack of response.
At the end, it seems pretty obvious to me, intentionally scratches Caitlin's eye with her long fingernails. She denies it was intentional, but watch, there it is.
Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game? Thanks.
Hold on. So she goes for the ball, and then look, she points her hand down after the play, after the ball is past this player from the Sun. NBA games, televised games with Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever averaged 1.18 million viewers.
They're being oddly quiet about these physical incidents involving Clark. It's got people talking, and not in a good way. Are they putting player safety on the back burner, or are they just trying to keep the peace? This silence from the league is raising some serious questions. What message does it send to the players, to the fans? Is the WNBA inadvertently saying it's okay to play rough with the rising stars? And here's another thing to chew on: the referees. Where are they in all of this? Critics are pointing out that there's a lack of fouls being called when Clark's on the receiving end of these aggressive plays. It's got people wondering if there's a double standard at play. Are some players getting away with more than others? All of this is creating a powder keg of tension. After the eye-scratching incident, social media exploded. Fans were calling out players, defending Clark, and demanding action from the league. It's turning into a real pressure cooker situation. So, what does all this mean for women's basketball? Is this just growing pains as the league deals with a new superstar? Or is it exposing deeper issues about how the game is officiated and managed? Just when you thought the controversy couldn't get any bigger, the spotlight shifts to the press room. Suddenly, asking about player safety isn't just risky, it's career-threatening. What's really going on behind the scenes of WNBA journalism? Imagine this. You're a reporter covering the WNBA. You've noticed some rough play on the court, especially targeting the league's new superstar. You ask a question about it, thinking it's your job to get to the bottom of things. Next thing you know, you're being accused of racism and homophobia. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what happened to Christine Brennan. Brennan, a respected journalist, dared to ask about the targeting of Caitlin Clark. She wasn't making accusations. She was doing her job, trying to uncover the truth about what's happening on the court. But the WNBA's response? They basically said she was fueling racist and homophobic narratives. Talk about shooting the messenger. This isn't just about one reporter getting heat. It's about a bigger problem in sports journalism.
And it seems very clear she bends her fingers into Caitlin's eyes.
Obviously a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three pretty wide open threes in the first half.
Was not called as a foul. And then she was seen celebrating on the sideline and laughing with a teammate.
No, they're not, which is surprising to me. We have to really see what the WNBA organization is about and who they are.
Asking tough questions is supposed to be part of the job, but in the WNBA, it seems like it can get you in serious trouble. Some people are even calling for reporters to lose their press credentials just for asking the wrong questions. That's not just unfair, it's scary for anyone trying to cover the league honestly. You've got to wonder, what's the WNBA so afraid of? Why are they more worried about controlling what reporters say than making sure their players are safe on the court? It's like they're living an opposite world where asking about player safety is bad, but letting players get roughed up is totally fine. And it's not just Brennan. Remember Greg Doyle? He made an inappropriate comment during a press conference. Yeah, it was a bad move, and he got suspended and apologized. But here's the thing, the backlash against him was huge, way bigger than any response to the actual rough play on the court. It's like the WNBA is more interested in policing what people say about the game than what's happening in the game itself.
When you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye?
She went right into convincing behavior. I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye.
We didn't shoot the ball like we're capable of, but even that to the side, we're capable of winning this game without making shots. Our defense could have been a little bit better.
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually.
This whole situation is creating a chilling effect on sports journalism. Reporters are starting to think twice before asking tough questions. They're worried about being labeled as troublemakers or worse. And when journalists can't do their jobs, fans lose out. We don't get the full story, we don't know what's really going on, and the league gets to control the narrative. But here's the real kicker. By trying to shut down these questions, the WNBA might actually be making things worse. They're not addressing the real issues, like player safety and fair play. Instead, they're creating this weird atmosphere where everyone's walking on eggshells, afraid to speak up. So what does this mean for the future of women's basketball? Are we heading towards a league where tough questions are off limits? Where reporters have to stick to fluffy, feel-good stories or risk losing their jobs? That's not good for anyone, not the players, not the fans, and definitely not the sport itself. You'd think having a superstar like Caitlin Clark would be a slam dunk for the WNBA. But here's the crazy part. They're not using her to promote the league. What's really going on behind the scenes? It turns out, Clark's story is about way more than just putting the ball through the hoop. We're talking about a whole mess of issues: race, gender, and the future of women's basketball. It's like opening a can of worms, but instead of worms, it's a bunch of tough questions the WNBA doesn't seem ready to answer.
I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
We see this in basketball all the time. It's intentional foul. Somebody tries to block somebody shooting a layup and they hit him in the back of the head or on the face.
We were down 8 or something, maybe 11 going into the fourth. Like we had our chances. Like I felt like I said, we didn't play well. Like we didn't play to the level that we're capable of playing.
Did you and Marina kind of laugh about it afterwards? It looked like there was later on in the game they caught you guys laughing about it.
You don't put your fingers down like that. Your hand swipes, and maybe your hand makes contact with their face.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room: race. Some people are wondering if the heat Clark's getting has anything to do with the color of her skin. It's a touchy subject, but we can't ignore it. The WNBA's got a diverse group of players, and suddenly, tensions are rising. Is it just coincidence, or is there something deeper going on? Now, here's where things get really weird. Clark's the hottest thing in women's basketball right now. She's bringing in fans like crazy. But if you look at the WNBA's promotional stuff, it's like she barely exists. It's like having LeBron James on your team and not putting him on a single poster. What's up with that? Some folks are saying the league's playing favorites, pushing certain stories while leaving others, like Clark's, on the bench. It's got people wondering, is the WNBA more interested in controlling the narrative than supporting all its stars? But hold up, let's hear from Clark herself. She's not sitting quiet in all this drama. She came out swinging against the nasty comments flying around, saying, "Nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls." Boom. She's not just talking about herself, but sticking up for everyone in the league. And it's not just Clark feeling the heat. Alyssa Thomas, another player, said she heard racial comments during a playoff series that she'd never experienced in her 11-year career. That's not just bad, it's scary. It's like the league's success is bringing out the worst in some people. Things got even crazier when Nalissa Smith, Clark's teammate, spilled the beans about her girlfriend, DeJoni Carrington. Get this, Carrington got death threats after an incident with Clark. Death threats over a basketball game. It's like some fans have lost their minds. The WNBA finally spoke up, saying they're against all this racist and mean stuff. But some people are wondering if it's too little, too late. Why did it take so long for them to say something? All this drama is shining a spotlight on how the WNBA runs things. They've got this rising star in Clark, bringing in tons of new fans and attention. But instead of riding that wave, they're acting like they don't know what to do with her. It's like they're scared of their own success. So, what's the deal? Is the WNBA trying to keep things balanced by not promoting Clark too much? Are they worried about upsetting other players? Or is there something else going on that we don't know about? So, what's the WNBA going to do about all this drama?
If you ask me, did you hit her intentionally? I'd say no. Nope, I didn't.
I think the WNBA has missed a huge opportunity, and the only reason, Megyn, that we're talking about it and you're talking about the WNBA is because of Caitlin Clark.
Overall, Coach said in the locker room, we were down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. We were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game.
That looked intentional, right? Typically when somebody does get hit in the face or you're trying to block something,
This is what it is. You can get up there, whether you're Caitlin Clark or whoever you want to be, and pander to whatever they want you to say, but I promise you, it will never be good enough.
They've got a superstar in Clark, but she's getting roughed up on the court. Other players are facing threats and racist comments. It's a mess, and the league needs to step up. Here's an idea. Why not use Clark's popularity to make things better for everyone? The WNBA could train reporters to cover sensitive issues better. They could set clear rules for how to handle tough situations. And why not get fans involved in positive talks about race and gender in sports? The league's got a chance to turn this whole thing around. They could use Clark's star power to bring in more fans and support all the players. But here's the big question. Can the WNBA actually make something good come out of all this chaos? Only time will tell.